what about someone who would like to become a franchisee in the US?
Okay,
What are
so
the requirements for something like that?
right. So I'll talk a little bit about that because I don't do franchise law, but I get where you're going with this, Lisa.
Okay.
If you wanted to, for example, buy into a company within the US, a good way to buy a company is to actually open a franchise, right, Lisette? So that could be one of the ways that you can open a company here and still fall within the categories that Lisette was talking about. So the
Okay.
new business doesn't mean that it has to be a new business with no goodwill, no history, no anything tied to it. A new business could be a new franchise that you also build,
Okay.
right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Franchises are, yeah, franchises are very popular, especially for E2 investors. Why? Because, of course, there is already a name, a brand. They can get customers easily. So if they don't have their business model already that they want to implement into the US, that's a good option. It's important to determine whether that would be allowable for that type of visa, because sometimes the requirements are specific. So if it does not fit the requirements established in the law, then it may not be useful for example, for the E visa, for the E2 visa. Or sometimes it's very costly for the entrepreneur to pay for all those fees.
Franchise fees.
And
Okay.
mhm.
And it depends on the
So
state, and it depends on the state too. So, for example, we're in Florida, so I know that with the franchising, you have to have your franchise disclosure document. There's a procedure to go through to make sure that you register that franchise that you're trying to, or that you get approval for the franchise that you're trying to do. So it's not just a matter of like, hey, I love this Papa John's pizza, and I want to go ahead and open this Papa John's pizza store. You have to make sure that you go through the local state requirements to see if you're even allowable to do, if it's allowable to do that. And like Lisette said, you have to sort of compare that with the criteria that you have to check on that checklist of whether or not you're going to qualify.
The content on Minding Your Business is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as specific legal advice. This show discusses general legal issues affecting business owners. Opinions of the guests are not necessarily that of the show. If you need assistance with your specific legal issue, please consult with a licensed attorney.